Deep in the heart of Tennessee, there lies a legend so chilling, it has haunted the small town of Adams for over 2 centuries. Tonight, I want to share with you the tale of the Bell Witch, a story passed down through generations, each retelling more terrifying than the last. Imagine, if you will, a quiet farmhouse in the early 1800s, surrounded by dense woods. The Bell family lived here, their lives seemingly perfect, until the nightmarish events began. It all started with faint knocking sounds and strange animal behaviors. But soon, things escalated. Voices from nowhere, physical attacks, and an unseen force terrorizing the Bell family. Who, or what, was behind this? Some say it was the spirit of a woman named Captivates. Others believe it was something far more sinister. What really happened to the Bell family? And why does this legend still captivate those who dare to investigate? Let's go back to the early 1800s, to a quiet farm in Adams, Tennessee. The Bell family, led by John Bell, had settled here, hoping for a life of peace and prosperity. John was a respected farmer, and together with his wife, Lucy, they raised a large family in their charming farmhouse. The Bells were known in the community for their hard work and generosity. Their days were filled with the simple joys and challenges of rural life. But beneath this idyllic surface, something sinister was about to emerge. It began innocently enough. In 1817, John Bell noticed something strange. Out in his cornfield, John Bell encountered a bizarre creature that looked like a dog with a rabbit's head. When he shot at it, the creature vanished. His son, Drew Bell, saw an unusually large bird perched on a fence, which flew away as he approached. Betsy Bell, John's daughter, noticed a girl in a green dress swinging from an oak tree branch. Dean, a slave of the Bell family, reported that a large black dog would follow him on his evening visits to see his wife. This was just the beginning of the bizarre occurrences that would soon engulf the Bell family. Little did they know, this was the first sign of the haunting that would come to be known as the legend of the Bell Witch. The peaceful life they had known was about to be shattered by an unseen force, intent on tormenting them. It wasn't long after John Bell's strange encounter in the cornfield that the true horror began. At first, it was just faint knocking sounds in the dead of night. The Bell family dismissed it as the creaking of an old house, or perhaps the wind. But the noises grew louder, more insistent, and they seemed to be coming from within the walls. Then, the disturbances escalated. The Bell children began to hear whispers and murmurs in their rooms, voices that seemed to mock and taunt them. It wasn't long before these whispers turned into screams echoing through the halls of the farmhouse. Soon, objects started to move on their own. Furniture shook violently, and household items were thrown across rooms by an unseen force. The children were especially targeted, with the entity pulling their hair and slapping their faces, leaving bruises and scratches. Betsy Bell, the youngest daughter, bore the brunt of the torment. She would often be found sobbing in her room, her hair tangled and her face streaked with tears. The entity seemed to take a perverse pleasure in her suffering, making her life a living nightmare. The Bell family was at a loss. They turned to their community for help, but no one could offer an explanation or a solution. The haunting had become a daily reality, one they couldn't escape. The once peaceful farmhouse had become a place of terror, but the worst was yet to come. As the entity's power grew, it became clear that this was no ordinary haunting. The Bell Witch, as it came to be known, had a sinister agenda, and the Bell family was trapped in its malevolent grip. As the terror in the Bell household grew, so did the speculation about the identity of the malevolent spirit. Whispers spread through the community, and the name Bell Witch became synonymous with the horrors faced by the family. One theory that gained traction was that the spirit was none other than Kate Batts, a local woman with a reputation for being eccentric and contentious. Kate had a well-known feud with John Bell over a land deal, and many believed she had cursed him on her deathbed. The story goes that Kate Batts, filled with anger and resentment, vowed to haunt John Bell and his descendants. This explanation seemed to fit the intensity and personal nature of the haunting, leading many to accept it as truth. Others speculated that the Bell Witch was not a spirit at all, but a demon, or an ancient entity that had attached itself to the Bell family. These theories pointed to the intelligence and power of the entity, which seemed to know personal details and could communicate with frightening clarity. During seances and spiritual investigations, the entity identified itself as Kate, further fueling the belief that it was indeed the spirit of Kate Batts. However, the true nature and origin of the Bell Witch remained shrouded in mystery. Regardless of its true identity, the Bell Witch left a lasting impression on the community. The name Kate became a symbol of fear, and the story spread far beyond Adams, Tennessee. But the haunting wasn't just about the entity's identity. The events that unfolded next would solidify the Bell Witch legend as one of the most terrifying hauntings in American history. As the haunting continued, the Bell family experienced a series of terrifying incidents that would forever be etched into their memories. John Bell, the patriarch, suffered the most. For years, he was plagued by mysterious ailments. His health deteriorated rapidly, and no doctor could explain the violent twitching and swelling of his throat. It seemed as though the witch had a personal vendetta against him. In December of 1820, John Bell fell into a coma and never woke up. After his death, the family discovered a strange vial of liquid near his bed. Curious and desperate for answers, they tested the substance on the family cat. To their horror, the cat died instantly. The witch's voice then echoed through the house, claiming responsibility for John's demise. John's daughter, Betsy Bell, also bore the brunt of the witch's wrath. The spirit tormented her relentlessly, pulling her hair, pinching her, and leaving her bruised and terrified. Betsy's cries for help echoed through the farmhouse, but there was little the family could do to protect her. The legend of the Bell Witch even drew the attention of Andrew Jackson, who later became President of the United States. Intrigued and skeptical, Jackson decided to visit the Bell farm with a group of men. What they encountered left them all deeply shaken. According to the story, Jackson's men were thrown from their horses, and eerie voices mocked them relentlessly. Jackson himself, a seasoned military man, allegedly declared that he would rather face the entire British Army than spend another night at the Bell farm. These incidents, and many others, cemented the Bell Witch legend as one of the most chilling hauntings in American history. The Bell family was left traumatized, and the entire community was gripped by fear. But even after John Bell's death, the witch's presence lingered. After the death of John Bell, it seemed like the dark cloud hanging over the family had finally lifted. The haunting that had terrorized them for years began to fade. But the legend of the Bell Witch was far from over. Betsy Bell, the young girl who endured the brunt of the witch's torment, eventually moved away, hoping to leave the nightmares behind. Though she tried to forget, the memories of those terrifying nights stayed with her, like shadows in the corners of her mind. Not far from the Bell farmhouse lies a cave, now known as the Bell Witch Cave. This place has become a magnet for those drawn to the eerie. Visitors to the cave often report strange happenings, whispers in the dark, ghostly lights, and an unsettling presence that seems to follow them. Even today, the Bell Witch Cave remains a place of intrigue and fear. Some claim to have captured inexplicable phenomena on camera, while others leave with a sense of dread that lingers long after they've gone. The story of the Bell Witch has transcended time, inspiring countless books, articles, and even movies. It stands as one of the most documented hauntings in American history, a tale that refuses to be forgotten. The small town of Adams, Tennessee, has embraced its haunted past. Visitors from all over the grounds where the Bell family lived to see the places where these chilling events unfolded. The legend of the Bell Witch is woven into the fabric of this community. The haunting may have ended, but the story lives on. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, the tale of the Bell Witch continues to draw people. It's a story that, once heard, is never easily forgotten. Whether it was the vengeful spirit of captivates or some darker force, the identity of the Bell Witch remains an enigma. This legend has been passed down through generations, each retelling adding its own twists and turns, keeping the story alive. Today, the Bell Witch Cave still draws the curious and the brave, those who seek to encounter the unexplained. The town of Adams has embraced its haunted heritage, welcoming those who wish to walk in the footsteps of the Bell family. Thank you for joining me on this journey into one of America's most chilling legends. The tale of the Bell Witch is a powerful story that captivates and haunts us. If you found this story intriguing, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more eerie tales. Until next time, stay curious and maybe keep a light on. Good night.